Have you ever just looked at your dog and wondered, what is actually going on in that head of theirs? Well, today we're going to bridge that gap. We're connecting the deep science of their origins to the practical, everyday things you can do to build a truly unbreakable bond. So here's our roadmap. We're going to start by jumping in a time machine to look at their origins. Then we'll dive right into the canine mind, get a handle on modern training, figure out who to call when you need help, and finally, see the incredible things that are possible when we get this partnership right. To really get your dog the one curled up on the rug right now, we have to go way, way back. We need to look at how a wild wolf was fundamentally rewired into a member of the family. And it all comes down to one really powerful idea in evolution. Okay, it all kicks off with this fascinating concept called Domestication Syndrome. Now, this is the master key that unlocks how selecting for just one single thing, friendliness, somehow created this whole cascade of other traits we recognize in our dogs today.
And what's absolutely wild about this is that our ancestors weren't sitting around thinking, I'd love a wolf with floppy ears and a spotted coat. No way. They were just picking the wolves that were less likely to bite them. All those other physical changes, they were just a happy, accidental byproduct of choosing for tameness.
So how on earth does that work? Well, it boils down to a specific group of cells that form in an embryo called neural crest cells. Think of them as a master control panel. They influence the fight or flight response, which dictates tameness, but they also have a hand in building things like cartilage for ears, pigment for coats, and the size of the skull. So by picking the calmest animals, we were unintentionally turning all these other dials too. Okay, so that's the ancient history. Now let's see how all that evolution actually shaped the way your dog experiences the world right now. And trust me, it's a world that is profoundly different from ours. You ever get that feeling that your dog just knows something you don't? Yeah, you're not imagining it. They don't see the world primarily with their eyes like we do. Nope, they experience reality through what I can only describe as a genuine superpower. And when I say superpower, I am not exaggerating. Your dog's nose has up to 300 million olfactory receptors. We have a measly 5 million. That means their sense of smell is somewhere between 10,000 to 100,000 times more sensitive than ours. They're smelling in a resolution we literally cannot imagine. Just to put that into perspective for you, that's like being able to detect one single drop of something in 20 Olympic-sized swimming pools. So next time your dog is spending forever sniffing one spot on your walk, remember, they're not just smelling pee on a bush. They are reading a complex story. Who was here, what they ate, where they're going. It's like a biological internet for them. All right, let's decode another piece of the puzzle. Barking. It is so easy to write it off as just annoying noise, right? But it's not. It's a language, and every single bark is a signal trying to tell us something. And getting this right is crucial. The American Veterinary Medical Association found that a staggering 40% of behavioral issues come from emotional or environmental problems like these. A dog that's barking nonstop isn't trying to be bad. They're communicating. They're telling you, hey, I'm scared, or I'm bored, or something is wrong.
So once we start to understand the why behind what they do, it changes everything. We can finally move away from outdated, frankly, wrong ideas about dominance, and instead use modern training that builds a real two-way communication street based on trust.
And a perfect example of this is clicker training. The clicker itself isn't a command. Think of it like a camera shutter. It takes a precise snapshot of the exact moment your dog does the right thing. It's a crystal clear signal that says, yes, that right there is what just earned you a treat. And because this whole method is built on positive reinforcement, training stops being a chore and becomes a fun game. You're not just teaching commands, you're building your dog's confidence, making them an excited student, and strengthening your bond in a way that nothing else really can. But what happens if the problem you're facing feels bigger than just learning sit and stay? What if you're dealing with really deep-rooted fear or anxiety? Well, it's so important to know who the right person to call is. Look, here's the easiest way to break it down. A dog trainer is like a teacher or a coach. They teach your dog what to do, skills and commands. A canine ethologist, on the other hand, is more like an animal psychologist. They focus on the why. They diagnose the root cause of really complex issues like severe phobias or aggression so you can treat the actual problem, not just the symptom. Okay, so when we put it all together, when we combine that deep scientific understanding with compassionate, clear training, the results are, well, they're just incredible. We unlock a potential in dogs that goes so far beyond just being a family pet. I mean, we're talking about dogs that are basically elite professionals. They are highly trained specialists doing critical, life-saving work every single day. From silently finding explosives in a crowded airport to locating a missing person after a disaster, they are our partners when the stakes are at their absolute highest. And this isn't just a cool idea. Their impact is very, very real. Just in the US, these explosive detection dogs help prevent more than 200 potential threats every single year. That's the real-world result of taking that superpowered nose and pairing it with a deep, trusting partnership. But after all the science and all the training techniques, what's really driving these heroic dogs? It's the bond. It's just like this military handler said. The engine for everything they do isn't just about getting a treat. It's about the profound affection they have for their human partner. And that, I think, brings us to the most important point of all. This whole journey from ancient wolf to modern-day hero dog really proves one thing. You don't unlock true potential through force or dominance. You unlock it through empathy and through understanding. We spend all this time trying to teach them, but maybe, just maybe, the real question is, what are they trying to teach us?